Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to welcome all of the new subscribers. We've had just a slew of them over the last week or two. Um, Good to have you all here. Hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. Also, welcome everybody over on Patreon. We've had um, excellent growth over there. I know that it has a lot to do with the the things that are going on right now, the things that are of concern. And for those of you who have been following closely and concerned about my cough, I have a little bit of it. I think it's going away, but I figure why take the chance? So I'm going to finish out this round of medication and just make sure. I want to talk tonight about. I should also say this. Uh, Kelly wanted me to extend to you all her thanks for all of the very kind comments. The one that she was in, I think it was it last night, um, and we just had so many nice comments that you all enjoyed seeing her and kind of welcoming her into it. She is going to be back. She's not going to be in all of them, but she's going to be in, you know, selected ones here and there. And sorry you don't get her tonight, but you get me, so hope that's enough. I want to talk about how to draw people to you and your group. Everybody wonders and they think about how do I start and create a group? And I've talked about this a little bit in the past. And I'm going to start off with this and that, and groups are extremely important. You have to have a circle. I just call mine a circle of friends, but whatever you call it, whether you call it a mag or a group or a tribe or whatever you call it, it doesn't make any difference. It's people who will come together and help each other and assist each other and have each other's back in those times when it's dangerous for an individual to stand alone. Um, and that's not just in times when society collapses. It's an everyday. It's life is easier when you have friends, right? Uh, so, but people have asked, how do I create one? And I have said that I think it's a mistake to come at it from the standpoint of wanting to create or start a group. Now, others will disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I have my opinion. They have their opinion. Listen to both sides. See what you think. See what sounds right to you. This is what I'm going to be sharing has always worked well for me and worked the best for me because I'm really not an organizer. I don't like organizations. I don't like groups even when I'm ahead of them, and because I think that once you have a group, there are dynamics going on within a group that can be, you know, they can be unhealthy sometimes. There can be fractures, whatever, unless it really is a naturally developing group, and that's kind of what I want to talk about here. Uh, I'm gonna use a couple of examples, and it's how I kind of talk to my kids about this. I think I mentioned a couple of these examples in our home church on Sunday, and there are a couple of religious examples. This isn't going to be a religious video at all, but the examples I think are excellent, and they can be very instructive and illustrative for those who want to try to draw people to them and create good, strong groups. In order to have a good group, a cohesive group, people they need to share certain things. They need to share core beliefs. You know, doesn't matter if you have, you can't select, well, I want somebody who's a long range shooter, and I want somebody who's a doctor, and I want somebody who's a communication specialist, and all that. Well, if you start looking for people based on their jobs, you're going to have, in my opinion, an uncohesive group. You may be able to tick all the boxes, but they're not going to work well. You want people who essentially believe the same way you do about core things. Okay, so a couple of examples here. I saw an illustration. I shouldn't call it a cartoon. I saw an illustration just a few weeks ago, or was it a meme? It could have been a meme. I don't know, on Facebook or something. That's why I watch Facebook, or why I'm on Facebook, because I love the memes. And it was kind of a four-panel cartoon. It's just this guy having coffee with Jesus, and the guy is looking at Jesus, and he says, "Jesus, I'm thinking about putting a little fish on my business cards. What do you think?" And Jesus looked at him and said, "To what purpose?" And the guy says, "Well, to let people know they're dealing with a Christian company." And in the fourth box, Jesus says, "Well, how about you let your work and your behavior let them know that?" That's true. The other one is a story of some missionaries, and I don't remember. It's a story that I heard long ago. Some Christian missionaries that were sent someplace, some country far, far away, and the local leader, tribal chief, I don't know, whatever it was, had given them permission to come in and help the local people, but he made a stipulation. They could not proselytize, they could not mention Jesus, they could not mention their religion, they couldn't do any of that. They couldn't try to convert his people. And so, the missionaries thought, well, gosh, but that's what we're all about. We want to take, the message of Jesus to these people. And I guess they had a big meeting, and they agreed to do it anyway. So they went over to wherever this was and helped, right? And they were very careful, because the guy told him, the minute you mention Jesus or anything like that, I'm throwing you out of the country. And so they were very careful, because they wanted to do what was, they wanted to get their work done and help these people. So they were here for quite a while. And I don't remember how long, but they were there for quite a while. And they said that it was one of the greatest experiences of their life. And they made so many converts because without putting into words and trying to convince people of things, and just letting their actions and their behaviors and their loving kindness and their help, that through that the people saw that and were attracted to that, and then wanted to know, where do you get this strength? Where do you get this peace? And we want to be like that. And I'm not sure at what point, I don't remember at what point they were maybe allowed to tell them about it, but they came back saying that they felt that they had a greater impact not being able to use the name of Jesus and having to rely on their works and their attitudes than they had before. So I think those are two extremely illustrative examples, and I would use that if you want a group, if you want a good, strong group, I wouldn't start talking about the world falling apart. I wouldn't start talking about prepping and preparedness and things like that. I would suggest, if you have yourself together, if you have developed yourself to the extent that you want to, and as the clouds of these troubles of the world, come over you, and other people see, and when they see that you are calm and you're peaceful and you're the stuff doesn't bother you like it gets everybody else riled up, they're going to be attracted to that. And people are attracted to people who are not cocky, not arrogant, but self-assured in a kind way, and in a way that they show that they obviously care about other people. That would be my suggestion. on how you draw people to you and to your group, if you already have a group, that are going to be of the same mind you are. You don't want to pursue, to use one more. I know that not everybody out there is a believer, and that's fine. I'm talking to you too. The same love with anyone else that I remind people that Jesus himself, he didn't tell his disciples he was going to make them hunters of men, but fishers of men. In other words, you don't hunt them down and make them submit, to what you want them to believe. In other words, rather than that, you show by example, and you put out the bait, the lure, as it were. And that's a crass way to put it, but and they are attracted to that. So I would suggest that that's a way to create your groups, and because you'll attract people that are like you, and that's what you want. You don't want a bunch of people that aren't like you. Okay, I don't care how well they can shoot. I don't care how well they can do open heart surgery in the field. You don't want people who are at odds with you in the core things, in the core principles and beliefs. You want people who are like you, because those are the people who are going to stick. So I think I'll leave it at that, and that was just kind of in response to some questions people had, and I guess I'll get back and finish my medicine, and remind you all that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And preparing well today means gathering around you like-minded people who you can depend on in good times and bad. So I'll leave it at that, and wish you all a good night. Bye-bye.